A diplomat is a person appointed by a state to conduct diplomacy with another state or international organization. The main functions of diplomats revolve around the representation and protection of the interests and nationals of the sending state, as well as the promotion of information and friendly relations. Diplomats are the oldest form of any of the foreign policy institutions of the state, predating by centuries foreign ministers and ministerial offices. Etymology: diplomat is derived from the Greek II to the first I euro II permil I 1/4 III, diplomatos, the holder of a diploma, referring in this case not to an educational certificate but to a diplomat's letters of accreditation, which enable him or her to carry out duties on behalf of one country or institution within the jurisdiction of another country or institution. Terminology: the ranks of diplomats are Euro ambassadors, envoys, ministers, and charga copywriter staff are Euro come under regulation by international law, namely the Vienna Convention on Diplomatic Relations of 1961. Diplomats can be contrasted with consuls and attaché copywriters, who represent their state in a number of administrative ways, but who don't have the diplomata Euro unregistered trademark as political functions. Function: diplomats in posts collect and report information that could affect national interests, often with advice about how the home country government should respond. Then, once any policy response has been decided in the home country's capital, posts bear major responsibility for implementing it. Diplomats have the job of conveying, in the most persuasive way possible, the views of the home government to the governments to which they are accredited and, in doing so, of trying to convince those governments to act in ways that suit home country interests. In this way, diplomats are part of the beginning and the end of each loop in the continuous process through which foreign policy develops. In general, it has become harder for diplomats to act autonomously. Whereas in the past Thomas Jefferson could write to his Secretary of State, "We have not heard from our ambassador in Spain for 2 years. If we do not hear from him this year, let us write him a letter." Secure communication systems, emails and mobile telephones can track down and instruct the most reclusive head of mission. The same technology in reverse gives diplomats the capacity for more immediate input about the policy-making processes in the home capital. Secure email has transformed the contact between diplomats and the ministry. It is less likely to leak, and enables more personal contact than the formal cablegram, with its wide distribution and impersonal style. Advocacy: the home country will usually send instructions to a diplomatic post on what foreign policy goals to pursue, but decisions on tactics, who needs to be influenced, what will best persuade them, who are potential allies and adversaries, and how it can be done, are for the diplomats overseas to make. In this operation, the intelligence, integrity, cultural understanding and energy of individual diplomats become critical. If competent, they will have developed relationships grounded in trust and mutual understanding with influential members of the country in which they are accredited. They will have worked hard to understand the motives, thought patterns and culture of the other side. Negotiation: the diplomat should be an excellent negotiator but, above all, a catalyst for peace and understanding between peoples. The diplomat's principal role is to foster peaceful relations between states. This role takes on heightened importance if war breaks out. Negotiation must necessarily continue, but within significantly altered contexts. Training: most diplomats have university degrees in international relations, political science, economics, or law. In India, the Indian Foreign Service is the gateway for anybody who has completed graduation and aspires to become a diplomat. However, the selection process is tough and lengthy, with an annual intake of roughly 20 to 25 candidates every year. Status and public image: diplomats have generally been considered members of an exclusive and prestigious profession. The public image of diplomats has been described as a caricature of pinstriped men gliding their way around a never-ending global cocktail party. J.W. Burton has noted that despite the absence of any specific professional training, diplomacy has a high professional status, due perhaps to a degree of secrecy and mystery that its practitioners self-consciously promote. The state supports the high status, privileges and self-esteem of its diplomats in order to support its own international status and position. The high regard for diplomats is also due to most countries' conspicuous selection of diplomats, with regard to their professionality and ability to behave according to a certain etiquette, in order to effectively promote their interests. Also, international law grants diplomats extensive privileges and immunities, which further distinguished the diplomat from the status of an ordinary citizen. Reflecting a dissatisfaction with the diplomat's elite and out-of-touch image, African-American author Langston Hughes imagined an alternative figure in the realm of international relations. Hughes spliced the terms diplomat and hiptomat to coin the term hiptomat. A figure of the hiptomat attends summit meetings and takes up the international situation with an eye towards supplying world populations with adequate food and letting everybody have civil rights, white, black, yellow, brown, gray, grizzle, or green. Psychology. While posted overseas, there is a danger that diplomats may become disconnected from their own country and culture. Sir Harold Nicolson acknowledged that diplomats can become denationalized, internationalized and therefore dehydrated, an elegant empty husk. Uniform, notes and references. External links, media related to diplomats at Wikimedia Commons.